I want to speak on something right quick. I ain't siding with Glorilla, I ain't siding with Brorilla. But I do want to say,
Boosie tried to defend Glorilla in her family beef, right? Thought he was just giving his opinion on artist money. But Glorilla's sister just ended his whole career on live.
Y'all just, I'm saying though, y'all want the clout to die. Y'all gotta stop talking about me for it to die.
She didn't just clap back, fam. She called him washed up, trolled him for being on Tubi movies, and said he's a 60-year-old man dressing like he's 15. This went from family drama to full-blown war, and what she said about Boosie, the streets are never gonna let him live this down.
You think you finna catch Lil Durk on Love and Hip Hop? You think you finna catch Chris Brown on there? You think you even finna catch Fantasia on that motherfucker?
Let me break down how this whole thing exploded. But here's what really happened that got us to this point, and trust me, this story is way deeper than what you saw on social media. Let me break down the whole timeline for y'all, no cap. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to early February 2026. Glorilla is riding high, right? Grammy-nominated, chart-topping hits, living her best life. The Memphis rapper done made it out the struggle, or so everybody thought. She's been using her come-up story as part of her brand, talking about growing up poor in Memphis, the struggles her family faced, and how she made it out against all odds. But on February 4th, 2026, everything changed when her own blood decided to air out the family business for the whole world to see. Glorilla's sister, Victoria Woods, who goes by the name Scarface online, hopped on Facebook Live with one mission: expose her famous sister for allegedly abandoning the family. And Shorty didn't hold nothing back type shit. This wasn't no cryptic subtweet or indirect shade. She called out Glorilla by her government name, Gloria, and laid out specific allegations that had the internet picking sides within minutes. Now, Scarface wasn't coming with no weak allegations either. She went straight for the jugular, claiming that while Glorilla out here talking about their struggle publicly, using their poverty for her origin story in interviews and songs, she ain't doing shit for the family behind closed doors. According to Scarface, their mama's still working at FedEx, breaking her back in a warehouse while her daughter cashing million-dollar checks and living in luxury. Think about that for a second, fam. Your sister is Grammy-nominated, performing at major festivals, getting endorsement deals, and your mama's still punching a clock at FedEx? That's the kind of contradiction that makes people question everything. But that's when things got real controversial, fam. Scarface dropped this bomb. She said Glorilla bought their father a Jaguar just to look good, even though, in her words, he's broke as hell and living in a house full of roaches. Let that sink in for a second. She's essentially saying Glow out here stunting for the gram, buying flashy gifts that look good on social media, while the actual living conditions ain't changed. That's performative generosity, not real help. Then she really twisted the knife with what might be the most painful part of her whole rant. So, I say again, Gloria, for you to know how we struggle, for you to know how we got neglected, for you to know how we got mistreated, and for you not to reach back and do shit for not one of us. Scarface said on that live, and you could hear the pain and anger mixing together in her voice. This wasn't just about money, fam. This was about feeling abandoned by someone who knows exactly what you're going through because she lived it too. It's been 4 years. 4 years. My brother out here doing fucking DoorDashes, she continued, her frustration building with every word. 4 years is a long time to watch your sister blow up while you still struggling to make ends meet. Her brother delivering food while his sister getting paid 6 figures for performances, that hits different. But then Scarface brought up something that really struck a nerve with people. You don't even do shit for our autistic brother. I know he didn't do shit to you. We got an autistic brother. You don't even do shit for him. When she mentioned the autistic brother, the internet really started paying attention, because if there's one thing people feel strongly about, it's taking care of family members who can't fully take care of themselves. The implication that Glorilla isn't helping a sibling with special needs, that's the kind of allegation that can seriously damage someone's reputation. Now, the streets started picking sides immediately. Some people felt where Scarface was coming from, like, if your sister really making millions, why the family still struggling? Why is mama still working a regular job? Why brothers doing DoorDash? But others was like, hold up, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. Family business is complicated, gang. Maybe Glorilla offered help and they refused. Maybe she's helping in ways that aren't visible. Maybe there's family dysfunction we don't know about. Glorilla wasn't about to let that shit slide. Later that same day, we talking hours, not days, she responded, but not with a long explanation or emotional video. Shorty came with receipts, and in the age of social media, receipts is everything. She posted a screenshot of what appeared to be a message from her mother, and this is where it gets messy. The message thanked Glorilla for her continuous support and said she already does so much for the family. Essentially, Mama Woods was contradicting everything Scarface just said on that live. Now you got Mama taking one daughter's side against another daughter, and that's the kind of family split that can last for years. The message suggested that Glorilla has been helping consistently, that the support is ongoing, and that the family knows about it even if the public doesn't. But this created a new problem. Now people questioning if Scarface was lying, if Mama was lying to protect Glorilla's image, or if different family members just have different perspectives on what enough help looks like. The next day, February 5th, Glorilla followed up by posting a link to Indeed.com on Facebook. If you don't know what that means, fam, that's the ultimate disrespect. Indeed is a job search website, so she basically told her sister, go get a job without saying a word. That's cold-blooded, no cap. That's the kind of petty that says, I'm done talking, you need to figure your own life out. Then she reshared a post from her older cousin, Lena Harris, who backed Glorilla up completely. Lena showed text messages proving that Glo regularly checks in on the family and provides support when necessary. The messages showed Glorilla asking about family members, offering money for specific needs, and staying connected despite her busy schedule. So now we got family members on both sides of this thing, and the internet is in a frenzy trying to figure out who's telling the truth. Now here's where people started connecting the dots, and this is where Boosie Badazz comes into the picture. On his own platform, Boosie decided to weigh in on the situation. And look, Boosie known for giving his opinion on everything in hip-hop, so this wasn't surprising. Whether it's Lil Nas X, Zaya Wade, R. Kelly, or any other controversial topic, Boosie gonna speak his mind. But what he said about this Glorilla situation, that's what set off the atomic bomb. Boosie started off trying to sound neutral. I ain't siding with Glorilla. I ain't siding with her sister, but I do want to say something. That but is important, fam, because everybody knows that when somebody says, I'm not taking sides, but they're about to take a side. Then he broke down the reality of artist money that a lot of people don't understand. He explained that people think rappers got way more money than they actually have. The perception versus reality of wealth in hip-hop is wild. Every artist who got 50 million ain't got 50 million. Every artist you think got 100 million ain't got 100 million, he said, keeping it 100. And this is facts, by the way, because what people don't understand is that when you hear an artist signed a $10 million deal, that doesn't mean they got $10 million in their bank account. That money gets split with labels, managers, lawyers, producers, and taxes take a huge chunk. Then you got lifestyle expenses, security, travel, and everything else that comes with being a celebrity. Then Boosie hit them with the math that made people pause. And you gotta understand that like if we get everybody, we gonna be broke. If I get everybody, I'ma be broke now. If I got $1 million, I got 7 brothers and sisters and a mom and dad. I give each y'all 100,000, I'm broke. That's simple math, but it's math that a lot of people never consider. He was basically saying that even if you have significant money, trying to financially support your entire extended family will drain you quick. And he emphasized this point. If I really look out like you want me to look out, it's gone. Now, on the surface, Boosie was making a valid point about the financial reality of being a successful artist. The expectation that you're supposed to take care of everybody, siblings, parents, cousins, childhood friends, people from the neighborhood, can drain you quick no matter how much you're making. He was basically saying Glorilla might not have the resources people think she has, and that the pressure to support everyone isn't realistic or sustainable. But Boosie also added this, but we do gotta look out too, but you know what I'm saying? We get everybody, we gonna be broke. So he was acknowledging that artists do have a responsibility to help family, but there's limits to what they can do. But here's what really happened that nobody saw coming. Scarface, Glorilla's sister, watched that Boosie video, and she did not take it as neutral commentary. To her, Boosie was making excuses for Glorilla, and she was about to let the whole world know how she felt about it. She wasn't about to let some rapper from Louisiana tell her what her sister can or can't afford to do for the family. She went live again, and fam, what came next shocked everyone who was watching. This wasn't just a response, this was a declaration of war. Y'all want the clout to die? Y'all gotta stop talking about me for it to die, she started. Already heated, and she had a point there. People kept saying she was clout chasing. But then, those same people kept talking about her, which gave her more attention. But she wasn't just coming for random internet commenters. She had specific targets, and Boosie was at the top of that list. First, she went at Charlemagne the God and the Breakfast Club for covering her sister's side but not showing the receipts she posted. Y'all going to put the video with her putting them in there, but I ain't put my receipts on there. And y'all got a big platform, so hell yeah, I got a problem with y'all. Why the fuck y'all ain't got no breakfast up there? It's called the Breakfast Club. She was calling out the media for biased coverage, and honestly, she had a legitimate gripe. The Breakfast Club posted Glorilla's response video with their mama's message, but they didn't show Scarface's side with equal weight. That's how narratives get controlled in media. You show what supports one side more than the other. But then she turned her attention to Boosie, and this is where it got wild. And you got Boosie, raccoon-eyed ass, talking about some "I'm not on nobody's side." But I'm just saying you are taking sides, because basically you saying she ain't got no money, so she ain't trying to give us nothing. You justifying her. Let me break this down for y'all. She just called Boosie out for fake neutrality. She's saying that by explaining the financial constraints, he was essentially giving Glorilla an excuse not to help the family. And Scarface wasn't having it. To her, it didn't matter if Glorilla had $100 million or $1 million, she should be doing more. I don't give a fuck what y'all think about Boosie. I don't care about his fan base. I don't care about none of that. This nigga owned 2 movies. So guess what? He fell off. Damn! She just said Boosie fell off. She's saying if you making movies but they on Tubi instead of Netflix or theaters, you ain't really winning like that. But she wasn't done, gang. It's always the old raccoon-ass, tight-fade-ass niggas wanna come for me, she continued, and you could tell she had been waiting to say this shit. I don't care about who fuck with him. Then she went for the throat with this one. You gay fuck, you straddling the fence. And then I really don't like you anyway, Boosie. Cause you know why? You don't like gays. You don't like gays. Lil Nas X. Now this is where the cultural warfare came in. She brought up Boosie's well-documented issues with Lil Nas X and his comments about the L community. For those who don't know, Boosie has repeatedly made controversial statements about Lil Nas X's sexuality and has been criticized for homophobic remarks. She called him out for being homophobic while promoting guns, weed, and bitches in his music. You always talking about a gay guy. If you talking about Nas X promoting gayness, but you promote guns, weed, and bitches, you a hypocrite. Be 100 around the board. The streets went crazy when this clip started circulating. Because now this wasn't just about family drama or money. This became about Boosie's character, his past controversies, and the hypocrisy she was calling out. She was essentially saying, you worried about gay people existing but not worried about the violence and drugs you promote? Make it make sense. And she kept going. Like I said before, he promote guns, weed, girls, all types of stuff. But then when somebody gay come along, oh no, the kids don't need to see that. Boy, sound like a stupid-ass hypocrite. This hit different because she was pointing out the selective morality that exists in hip-hop culture. Rappers can talk about murder, drug dealing, and degrading women all day. But when it comes to representation, suddenly they concerned about the kids. That double standard is real, and she wasn't letting it slide. Now here's where people started really analyzing what was happening, because this situation had layers, fam. Scarface made it clear that she already didn't like Boosie before he commented on her family situation. Ever since he did that shit with Nas X towards the gay community, every time about something gay, he got something to say. I did not like him, she explained. She admitted that Boosie didn't even say nothing that wrong in his original video about the Glorilla situation. But because she already had a problem with him, she wasn't giving him no pass. He didn't go on there bashing me and shit. But see, I already got disliking for you. So yeah, you can't even sneeze towards this situation, and I'm going to say something to you. This is real street politics right here. She using the Glorilla situation as an excuse to go at someone she already had beef with. That's strategic, and that's how these internet wars really work. Sometimes the actual topic is just the vehicle for deeper issues. She also went in on his age and style. You are almost 60 years old and you still dressing like you fucking 15. She was clowning how older rappers sometimes try to dress young to stay relevant. Boosie is in his 40s, not 60, but her point was that he's too old to be commenting on her situation. And then she really twisted the knife. Why the fuck he on Tubi movies now? Why the fuck he on Tubi movies? This nigga ain't on Paramount. She's saying his career has declined to the point where his films are on Tubi, a free streaming service, instead of major platforms. That's disrespectful, but it's also her way of saying he's washed up and trying to stay relevant by commenting on trending topics. But the street's been talking about this for months now, and the deeper you dig, the more interesting it gets. The internet absolutely exploded after Scarface's response. Here's what happened next. Social media was divided into camps. Team Glorilla said Scarface was being ungrateful and airing private family business for attention. They pointed to the receipts Glorilla showed and said clearly she's been helping. Team Scarface said Glorilla should be doing more and that going public was the only way to get her sister's attention since private conversations weren't working. The Breakfast Club and other media outlets started covering the beef between Scarface and Boosie, which is exactly what she said she didn't want, but also exactly what she knew would happen. She called out the hypocrisy. Y'all want the clout to die? Stop mentioning me. But media thrives on conflict, so of course they kept covering it. Scarface also addressed people saying she was getting bookings because of the drama. If a nigga call me and ask, I'm not calling folks, hey man, let me get booked. They calling me. They in my inbox. She was saying opportunities came to her. She didn't chase them, so why should she turn down money? She made it clear she wasn't backing down from anyone. Like I said, if I didn't spare my blood fucking sister, the fuck I look like sparing y'all. That's someone who's ready for war with anybody, celebrity or not. But let me zoom out for a second and connect to broader patterns in hip-hop culture because this situation represents something way bigger than just one family's drama. First, we got the age-old question. When you make it out, how much do you owe your family? This is a debate that's been raging in the black community and hip-hop culture forever. On one hand, we got the lift as you climb mentality. The idea that when you make it, you're supposed to bring everybody with you. That's cultural, that's generational, that's real. But on the other hand, enabling family members financially can prevent them from developing their own hustle and independence. Second, we got the media's role in amplifying family drama. These platforms profit from conflict while the actual families suffer long-term damage to their relationships. Third, the hypocrisy in hip-hop regarding moral standards. Scarface's point about Boosie promoting violence but criticizing that community representation highlights how selective morality operates in the culture. This situation is far from over. We might see Boosie respond, other artists weigh in, or more family drama unfold. But what's clear is this exposed the complexity of fame, family, money, and cultural politics in ways that made everyone uncomfortable. So let me know, who's right here? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe because when this pops off again, and it will, you're gonna wanna know first. This is your boy keeping it 100, no cap. Peace.